Hi guys, this is Scott for Rebellious Noise. Today I am joined by,
It's Dan from Rebellious Noise.
and that's
What's
right,
up, everyone?
we are here to do a Nation League special again on the Rebellious Noise podcast. We're talking football, we're talking Nations League, and it's getting towards the business end of the Nation League. Dan, are you excited?
I'd be excited if we actually got one of the results right every once in a while. But
So we're going to be doing this one a little differently. Usually we go through the orders that the game's going to be played, but this time round we're still doing obviously match days 5 and 6, but we're going to go group by group. And usually we do League B last, but we're going to start with that first. And usually we mainly stick to just what we think is going to happen with the British and Irish teams. But at the moment, for this episode, we are gonna, because it's the end, it's the nitty gritty of the groups. We're gonna predict basically all the games that are left, and then we'll figure out who's going to get promoted, who's going to get relegated. Some of these teams obviously are going to be coming up to League A, and then later on we'll talk about League A and see who's going to be going through to the playoffs and who is actually, well, the finals I think they call them, and who's actually getting relegated to League B. So let's get started, Dan, with League B and Group One.
one.
Still getting our heads around that. All right, League
It is a weird format, to be fair.
which is the league with Norway, which is the group, sorry. There we go again, with Norway, Austria, Romania, and Northern Ireland. Let's go match by match, and then at the end of it, what we'll do is we'll say what that means, what our predictions will mean for the group table and how things are going to stand at the end of it. So, first match, Dan, we've got Romania versus Norway. I am going with a 3-1 victory for Norway.
I've gone for a Norway victory. I've gone 3-0 to Norway.
Very close. Okay, moving into the next one, we've got Austria versus Northern Ireland. Obviously, Northern Ireland are just at the moment trying not to get relegated, and I think they're going to be fighting hard like they did. We didn't really mention a little while back that obviously Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, and Scotland were also trying to get through their Euro playoffs as well. So it's taken a lot out of them recently. But this one, even though they were lucky there and they did well, I'm going to say not so lucky here. But it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
I think they've not kept a clean sheet yet. Northern Ireland.
Dirty.
I can't see them doing it against Austria either. So I think they are going to lose 2-0 against Austria. I'm afraid to say. Sorry about that.
Not looking good for them. Okay, and then we've got Austria again up against Norway. I'm going for a 2-2 draw there.
I've gone for a 3-2 win for Norway in that one. I think that they've got just enough to pip Austria in that one. And then I think for us it comes down to the final game for who stays in this group, pretty much.
Yeah, so again, Northern Ireland, I've gone for another draw. I know they're going to be trying hard to not get relegated, but I've got them going down, unfortunately. 0-0 draw against Romania.
I've got Northern Ireland snatching it 1-0. Now, I didn't actually look at the table before. I just put my prediction in, press calculate on the table, and it came up that Northern Ireland would remain in the group on goal difference.
In third then?
Yeah, so Northern Ireland finishing third with a goal difference of -7. Romania getting relegated with goal difference of -8.
So mine, because I've gone for 2 draws for Northern Ireland, mine's gone with Northern Ireland getting relegated, unfortunately. And I'm guessing, does yours calculate as Norway going through, top of the group?
Top of the group, 5 wins, 1 defeat, 15 points. Easy.
There we go. Mine's only got them on 13, but I think we both agree it looks like Norway are heading up to League A. Okay, so now we move into Group 2. And this is the one with Scotland in it. So let's move into the first match going on for that group, and that is involving the Scottish versus Slovakia, an away trip to Slovakia. I've got that going down as a 1-1.
I've got the scoreline exactly the same as it was at Hampden, a 1-0 win for Scotland.
I think this is going to be key for our table kind of calculations here. But I've got, as well, Czech Republic beating Israel 1-0. What about you?
I've got them winning 2-0, Czech Republic.
Okay, very confident about the Czech Republic. Czech Republic up next. This time, I've got them winning 2-0 against Slovakia. What about you?
I've got them winning 2-0 against Slovakia as well.
And then that moves into the last game where, for me, it's all or nothing for Scotland, the way my table's going, and it's Israel versus Scotland. But I've got it as a 1-1 draw that Scotland, unfortunately, just miss out, which means they will end up on 12 points with Czech Republic, but it'll be a goal difference of literally 1 goal stopping them, I think it is, from going through to League A, which kind of, like, I kind of want to go back and change it, but I was doing it like you said on the last one, trying not to look at the table and just thinking how I think these games might go. Yeah. Ugh. Scotland second for me, just missing out.
Yeah, see, for me, again, like I didn't even look at it, but Scotland for me were already up at this stage. They'd already gone past Czech Republic, regardless of what happened. Either way, I'd put Scotland to beat Israel 2-1, and surprisingly, it means Scotland would then finish the group unbeaten as well. Yeah,
see, I guess mine still would be unbeaten. It's just that I've given them 2 draws. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I feel like they've already had quite a lot taken out of him recently with the Euros attempts, you know. So obviously, this stage now to get into League A for Scotland, my goodness, this is why we like the Nations League. You know, we've said it since the start. The fact that you can literally get promoted and relegated, I love this idea.
But I mean, every single game so far in this group has been, apart from Slovakia versus Czech Republic, every single game that has had a winner has been decided by like a solitary goal. So, you know, Scotland have got that like grittiness about them, I think, that, you know, can help to take them through. So,
well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I hope you're right. I'd love to see Scotland going through to League A, but at the same time, the Czech Republic.
Let's see if they're happy about England. So.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go the same way. Yeah, but like I said, though, the Czech Republic, they'd be deserving to go through as well. They've been playing pretty well themselves. So
they have indeed.
Yeah, and my one is Slovakia going down. What about you?
It is Slovakia going down on 1 point.
Oh, see, I'm a bit more generous. I've given them 2, apparently. Right.
So, yeah, and that 1 point was not even me giving it to them. That was the draw against Israel.
Oh, that means I only gave them 1 as well. All right, cool. So we move into Group 3. This group starts out with Russia and Turkey. Well, Russia visiting Turkey. I've gone with the Russians edging it 1-0.
I've got a solitary goal margin for Russia, but I've gone 2-1 rather than 1-0.
Okay. On to Hungary versus Serbia. For me, I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
I've gone Serbia to win it 2-1.
Interesting. Okay. Hungary up next again. I've got them losing 1-0 to the visiting Turkish.
I have got them losing 2-0 to Turkey.
Okay. And then into the last game of this group. Well, it's being played at the exact same time as the previous one, but Serbia versus Russia. I'm going to end on a 0-0 draw.
I'm going to end on a 1-1 draw.
Quite similar in some of these. Okay, right. So that puts Russia through top of the group and Serbia relegated. Does that do the same for you?
It does indeed. Russia through unbeaten. 3 wins, 3 draws for me.
Okay, moving into the last of the League B predictions, and this is Group 4. The one that has 2 teams, I guess, from a British and Irish perspective, and that being the Welsh and the Republic of Ireland. So, kicking off, we've got Bulgaria facing Finland. I've gone for a 2-1 win for Finland.
I've gone Finland to win 1-0.
Okay, so again, similar in the result at least. Then we've got Wales versus the Republic of Ireland. I've got a 2-0 win for Wales.
Kind of similar. I've gone 2-1 for Wales. I think that Ireland will get 1.
Okay. Then we move into Ireland against Bulgaria on the final night. I've got a 1-1 draw.
I've got Ireland winning at 1-0.
Okay. And then the last game we're going to do for League B is Wales versus Finland. I've got a 1-0 win for the Welsh.
Close again. I'm going 2-0 Wales.
Okay, so what does that do for your table? For me, 16 points going through to League A, which would be great to see, are the Welsh.
Exactly the same. 16 points. Wales going through. 5 wins and a draw. Good
And
performance. Bulgaria rock bottom. Solitary point.
I'll say again, I've got 2 for my bottom team.
Solitary point that they earned on the opening game against the Republic of Ireland. So
there you go. See, I've got them picking up another against the Irish, so that's why they've got 2 points, but still going down for me. All right, cool. So that's League B. Now we're going to move into League A. Obviously, we'll be touching on a bit of England talk here and going through some of the squad announcements.
It's the old business end of it, mate.
The business end. It did. I mean, it's exciting though. Like the possibility of getting to a final again, or at least a semi-final for this stage. But we'll see what we think about England's chances in that one. Okay, so moving on to League A. Let's start again with League A and Group 1. Right, so the first game that we'll be predicting here is the Netherlands versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm going to go 3-0 for the Dutch.
I've put exactly the same, even if Holland are at a disadvantage by playing against 2 countries.
You can't keep using the same jokes then.
Especially when they're not funny the first time,
mate. You said it. Right, Italy versus Poland up next. I've got 2-1 win for the Italians.
If you've been looking at my answers, mate, I've got exactly the same.
Have you?
2-1 Italy.
Okay, cool. Moving on to Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Italy. I've got a 1-0 win again for the Italians.
I was going to say, if you've got 2-0 Italy, then...
Oh, spooky.
Yeah. Again, Italy at a disadvantage. I'm joking.
Just keep doing that joke. Eventually, it'll be funny. Then we got Poland versus the Netherlands. Finishing up League A Group 1 predictions. That is 2-0 for me against Poland.
I've gone 3-0 Holland.
Okay, so again, a lot of similar results here. For me, that leaves my table as on 12 points Italy and the Dutch on 11 points. And bottom of the group, Bosnia and Herzegovina going down with 2 points.
Yeah, mine's exactly the same.
Really?
I think because you think our results were pretty much exactly the same, except a couple of scores were different. So yeah, the points tally's the same, just goal difference.
Yes,
it's different. So
it's going to be an interesting end. I mean, this is why I really enjoyed the Nations League last time round, because I didn't feel like England had much of a chance, and then everything changed in the last 2. You know, we could have been relegated or gone through to the finals last time around, which we did. So, this is going to be a really exciting end, especially when you've got Italy and the Netherlands in the same group going for that same top spot.
I mean, I think it's just a shame that the Italy-Holland games were so early on in this group, because I think they were always going to be the matches that decided the winners of the group, and Italy getting the 1-0 win in the Netherlands in the first match day or second match day, that they played, and then obviously the 1-1 draw in Italy. You know, Holland obviously couldn't get that back. So
yeah, and like we touched on in the last video, compared to our first predictions where we were going quite high with it, a lot of those games were really low scoring, you know, and like you say, that some of the bigger games would have been better, I guess, from a spectator's point of view, to come later on, just because it's still a very weird time as far as fixture congestion and stuff, but it really felt like it in the first 2 matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't have wanted to watch match day 3, both games finished 0-0, so you'd be well, what kind of group is this? but yeah, so I think we're pretty much in agreement there that Italy are in the playoffs.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting. Yeah. Okay,
going down.
At the end of this, we'll do a quick little prediction. Looking at our 4 teams going through to see who we think is going to win the whole thing. So, going into the second group, which is England's group, we start off with an England game. Actually, do you want to do the England squad? A bit of England squad talk first. Not much of it's changed since the last ones, to be fair. And as usual, it's usually injury that does change the little things at the moment. Any notes on that?
Yeah, so obviously Phil Foden, I nearly said Phil Jones then. He's definitely not in contention at the moment. So yeah, obviously there's a return to the group for Phil Foden,
Mm,
missing the last month's games, obviously with the documented off-field problems.
mm,
Mason Greenwood, though, didn't make the team.
mm.
Danny Ings and Calvin Phillips both missing, obviously due to injury. Reece James keeps his place, which was good.
Apart from that
Um,
red card thing, which wasn't massively his fault and it was after the game, he performed really well in
yeah,
the last two fixtures. So,
and also talking about red cards, it means Harry Maguire will be unavailable for the Belgian game.
mm.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, the team is pretty much the same.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty much the same as the previous squad.
I'm looking forward to seeing Sterling back. Obviously, I think he was named in the last squad, wasn't he? But I think injury
Yeah,
stopped him. So I really do think, because I just feel like this time last year we had so much more to be excited about as England fans, even though it's still kind of similar team, you know. But I just feel like we were playing way more attacking and free flowing last time. Um, Yeah, and
I
it's
think.
crazy considering the forwards we've got that we haven't really done much lately. But yeah, I think Sterling being back in the team hopefully could give us a good chance.
Yeah, I think though being in like the height of this pandemic thing is not actually helping as well. Obviously, like with the games coming like thick and fast and that, it's gonna obviously cause a bit more of like fatigue and injury on
Mm,
players. And it's like, it's like with at the weekend, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioning after the Man United game, like we played on Sunday. Then we went to Turkey on Wednesday, and then we're back for a Saturday lunchtime kickoff.
mm,
And he's like, obviously the players could have done with the extra bit of rest. Whereas then you've got on the Sunday is obviously was Liverpool versus Manchester City, and they both played on the Tuesday night. So just you got to think like with the Champions League is pretty much at the moment every week. So
mm,
teams currently are playing like Wednesday, Saturday, or Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday,
mm,
whatever it is. But I think for the players, it's just for Gareth Southgate trying to get that balance right so that he's not burning too many of the
mm.
players out. I think the Belgian game will most likely see as strong a team as he can put out.
Yeah, that's where you
Dem-
got to go for it, ain't it? In that one.
yeah, and I think the Denmark game is probably more where he can not experiment as such, but
Mm.
maybe give a few players that wouldn't necessarily be first choice
But
players
then again, it
more
all
of a
depends
chance.
on the result of that first game and what it's looking like for, I guess, what is it, Belgium and Denmark as well.
Yeah,
You mean the Iceland game, England Iceland?
that's the one. Yeah,
Yes,
Go on.
because
Yeah,
otherwise,
England, Iceland. Yeah,
otherwise, it could come down to that last game whether or not we are top in the group. I mean, I personally don't think it's going to get to that position, but we'll explain that in our predictions in a minute. But yeah, so if that is the case, if we do beat Belgium, then we've then got to go really strong against Iceland as well. Even though Iceland aren't as strong as a team, if there's the chance to win the group, then you really got to go for it. So obviously we got the game against the Republic of Ireland as well, being the friendly game, which kind of brings up an interesting point. I think about Jack Grealish. I think it's probably not the best idea to play him in that game, considering his past of just like Declan Rice leaving that national team to join our national team, which we've gone over on goal hanging years ago.
put
When
both of them in the
first
team, mate,
anyway.
just to annoy him.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's. I don't know if there's any friendly not to need to risk those players going in as maybe it's this one, but that's just I guess a political thing really anyway. But yeah, it's strange because I feel like he needs game time. He's most likely to get in the friendly than in the competitive games, annoyingly, because he's been in the group in the squad, but he hasn't really been used to. I don't think anyone's like him. To be fair, he hasn't been used enough. We've needed a player like him so much in these previous Nations League games, and he's been coming on for barely any time, So I know there's a lot of conspiracies and stuff like that people think Southgate doesn't like him or don't rate him, which I don't know. Maybe he's got opinions, but to be fair, like I mean, is it Mason Mount that he keeps like bigging up instead? But to be fair, Mount's not exactly playing terribly himself, and then you've got, he brought Grealish into the team. People were out like, oh, he was kind of forced to, and like he kind of was shutting people up. I don't really buy that because he can drop him if he wants to drop him. You know, so he's putting him in the team for a reason, but for some reason he's just not getting that chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well. I don't like when they're playing him out on the wing. I don't think he's a winger. He's a number 10. Like, you know, you want him like in the hole behind the strikers. You know, where he can get on the ball and just, you know, he can pick a pass. He can, you know, he scored a worldie against Man United last season. You know, I think he's a brilliant player. Like, I'm honestly surprised that he's not starting more games for England. You know, he was probably Villa's best player last season. He was probably one of the main reasons they stayed in the Premier League last year.
And he's definitely fought his way back into the thinking of like the England setup, you know?
Exactly. And I think, you know, you say like there's always going to be those like comparisons with Mason Mount, but it does look like he's got a biggish pool of players trying to fit into like one or two positions, and it's always going to be awkward as well. The system that he plays, because he likes to play, it seems like two holding midfielders and then one just in front. It's like, does he go more for like a defensive side? Is he going to go with, say, like Dyer and Rice holding with Henderson in there, which would then mean that there wouldn't be a place necessarily for a number 10. You'd have like two wingers and a striker rather than, you know, an out and out, say, like a diamond midfield where, you know, you'd have him playing at the top of that diamond and somebody else playing like towards the tip, like the back of it kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one really, isn't it? I think the only thing I feel that may help him is the fact that there's not going to be any fans for the England-Ireland game. So if they were going to play him in that, same with Declan Rice, you know, you're not going to get that like abuse, so to. I mean, not that there would be. Like, we'd hope there won't be abuse, but
I'd understand it. Like, as much as I love that Grealish and Rice are playing for England, I completely. We've mentioned it again, like I said earlier on Goal Hang. We had a little bit of a debate about this as well. I just don't think you should change the national team. Now, am I glad they're playing for my national team? Of course I am, but I don't think it should have happened. It's ridiculous. But we could go on about that all day. But so I'd completely understand if Irish fans were giving them a hard time. And like you say, if they were there, then I probably wouldn't play them.
It's like the Wilf Zaha situation as well, you know. Played for England, obviously, and then actually named in my England, I think, two-cap wonders. Played for England twice, and then now playing for Ivory Coast. And it's interesting as well, because they say about, like, people that have played for other countries and, like, can't get in the England team. Another one who... And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Man United supporter. Aaron Wombasaka, he's probably the best defensive right back out there at the moment.
Look how many right backs we got though.
Exactly, but when you look at them, Trent is quite attacking, Walker is quite attacking, Trippier is quite attacking, whereas he is more of a defensive fullback. And even he's saying that he's considering pledging his international allegiance to the Democratic Republic of Congo because he can't get in the England squad.
Yeah, I've started to worry that as well. Like, obviously, Saka and Maitland-Niles, just from an Arsenal perspective, have just got into the England squad as well, which is great. But then you've still got Reece Nelson and Joe Willock as well. And that's like, I want them to get a chance as well. But like you mentioned, there are so many players that, like, we are lucky at the moment. But it's weird, but then it's like we're not gelling on the pitch as well, you know? It feels like we've got more players that you could be making a good case for them being in the England squad than we did maybe in the previous generation. But weirdly enough, we're just not... I feel like it's almost too much. You know, like Southgate still can't pick his squad. He still can't pick his style, it feels like.
And it's like you don't want to just be throwing caps around either, like they're confetti kind of thing. But I think he needs to get a formation that he's settled on. Like, if you're going to play three at the back, play three at the back, play it against Belgium, Ireland, Denmark. So the players are used to the system that you're going to play, so that you know, okay, every squad I pick, I know that I'm going to need to pick 3 centre-halves, 2 wing-backs, 3 central midfielders. You know, whatever formation you're going with, pick it, stick to it, play it in every game. So then, as I say, the players are used to it. Yeah, you can switch it up during the game. That, for me, is the advantage of having players such as like Eric Dyer and Declan Rice about, because they're centre halves, but then they can also go into the midfield. So if you did start a game with 5 at the back and, you're struggling, you can always move one of them a bit further forward into the midfield and make a midfield 4 if you need to. But, I don't think he knows his best system. I don't think he knows his best 11. I mean, if you look all over the pitch, 11 positions, I think you could probably say he knows probably his favoured player in 5 positions.
I was going to say about the same,
entire squad. Because, I mean, you think he's probably going to go... If you look at the entire England pool, he's probably got Harry Kane is nailed on as the striker.
Sterling.
It seems like he's got Sterling and Rashford are the two that he favours playing on the wings. It seems like if everyone's fit, probably Jordan Henderson's going to walk into that midfield. Harry Maguire's going to fit in at centre back. Not necessarily saying.
That is it,
yeah, they're the 5. And at the moment, it looks like you could even throw a 6th in with Jordan Pickford. And I think apart from the front 3 that we said, the other 3 have all come in for like criticism a lot of times, like especially Maguire and Pickford recently. But then that's why it's like, why are you then not experimenting?
Those are the ones that kind of need to be changed. But then it's the nature of their positions, though. I guess it's hard to experiment in those positions.
Yeah, as well. I think because he wants to build the spine of the team. It's like if you want Maguire to play there, that's fine, but then you need to make sure that you've got a partner next to him that's going to be playing there every international game. And you look at years gone by, it was always Rio Ferdinand and John Terry. If one of them drops out, you've got Sol Campbell to come in. You've got Ledley King to come in. And before that, it was always like Tony Adams and Gareth Southgate himself. Yeah, Euro 96, it was Southgate and Adams. And then... after that was pretty much like the younger guys coming through, like your likes of Rios, Terry, Campbell, and they played together for a while as the 3. If you're not set on 2 centre halves, you can't decide. There's nothing wrong with playing 3. Dyer's playing at centre back for Tottenham. If he's one of your favoured centre backs, throw him in there alongside like Maguire, and if you're going to go, I don't know, Joe Gomez, you go with the 3 of them. You can chop and change, but just I think you need. It's like we say with Premier League teams. Once you know your best 11, try and stick to that as much as you can, because that's what's going to get you the results.
Definitely. Okay, and speaking of results,
sorry about that.
That's all right. Now we'll look into what we think the results are actually going to be then, because we've mentioned all we can really about the England squad, which I think now will probably explain our predictions. And again, I was way more optimistic this time last year for England, even though we had a tougher route, I think. But yeah, I can't see it going well this time round, unfortunately. I feel like Belgium's going to beat us 3-1.
See, I thought 3-1 initially, but then I thought, maybe not. So I put 2-1 for Belgium beating England.
Cool, but that's a pretty decisive game. Obviously, we'll get onto where that leaves us in the table in a moment. But Denmark versus Iceland up next. I've gone for a 2-0 win for Denmark.
I've gone exactly the same scoreline.
For Denmark as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So moving into another Denmark game, they'll be visiting Belgium, who I've got down as beating Denmark 2-1.
I've got Belgium beating Denmark 3-1.
Okay, again, just only a goal in it between our predictions. And then the final game for England, I've got us, even though it won't mean anything because of Belgium's results, I think we'll probably beat Iceland at this stage 2-1 with a more experimental team, because they realise we're not going through, but we're also not getting relegated.
Yeah, I think we'll put the final nail in the Icelandic coffin, sending them down.
On 0 points. Yeah.
0 point with a 2-0 victory.
Which I'm sure some members of the press will start to, it's revenge. You're in 2016.
Well, I think it's going to be 2-0 purely because I don't think we're going to play Pickford in goal. So.
Okay, right. So that makes obviously Belgium going through top as well. I'm guessing it's the same for you.
Yeah, Belgium top, but then mine has Denmark going through on goal difference, or Denmark finishing second on goal difference.
Yeah, same.
England finishing third.
Yeah, I got exactly the same. Both on
Well,
10
actually,
points, but
it's
Danes.
actually my goal difference is exactly the same, but it's Denmark go through on. I don't know how this calculates, but I think it's like they're going through on goals scored. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Probably is
So
then.
it's got, because for some reason the table that we're using, it shows goals, and then it's got Denmark. Yeah, Denmark have scored 7, conceded 5. Yeah, sorry, and then England scored 6, conceded 4. So
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Well, sadly, that looks like England. Well, I guess not going out or anything, which is nice at least. But we're not getting relegated. Like I said, I was way more confident last year. It's another thing about the Nations League as well. I kind of feel like maybe Portugal won it last year. Maybe one of those considered bigger teams win it this year as well. And maybe that'll put a bit of respect on the name of the Nations League so that England fans will take it a bit more seriously. Because I think even if we won it last year, people would have been like, it's not a big deal. And tried
it's not the World Cup.
Yeah, well, obviously. But like as we've said again many times on this channel, we kind of see this, I guess, as like the League Cup or something like that kind of equivalent. So, and I wouldn't
it's a
mind
trophy, mate.
Exactly. So, we're not getting through in our estimations and predictions. We could be wrong, and that'd be great. I'd love to be wrong and see England go through to the semi-finals once again.
Get us Belgium, mate.
You know what? I'm just glad in some ways that the Euros didn't happen, because looking at how we've played in the Nations League so far, again, things could change. We could really turn it on and everything click and we go through. But up until this point, I wouldn't want to see these performances at Euro 2020. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad it's been delayed for that sense. But if you want to know my other thoughts on Euro 2020 and what might have happened with England and the rest of the teams, then check out our what could have been series, basically, where Dan picked who he thinks should have gone to Euro 2020. And I did a video where I thought who would have won Euro 2020 if it happened when it was supposed to happen. Right, moving on to tournaments that are actually happening at the moment, and more of them. We've got League A Group number 3. Starting off with Portugal versus France. I've got a 1-1 draw.
I've got exactly the same scoreline.
Okay, moving into Sweden versus Croatia. I've got Croatia going there and picking up a 2-0 victory.
I've got Croatia also scoring 2 goals, but Sweden will get one back. 2-1.
Okay. Then we've got Croatia versus Portugal. I am going for a 3-2 win for the Portuguese.
2-1 for me for Portugal in that one.
Okay, right. And then we move into France versus Sweden. I'm going for a 2-0 victory for France.
So I've gone for a 3-0 victory for France, which, looking at my table, is not enough to send France through as winners. They'd lose out literally by 2 goals on goal difference.
See, I've got a similar result. I've got Portugal going through, both on 14 points, but Portugal going through with a 3-goal difference. Which I can see happening. Current champions going through. Obviously, France, this is going to be another one where it's going to be going down to the wire, and it's going to be exciting seeing how these two teams play. Because obviously, Croatia don't really have much of a chance. I don't think they even have a chance at all, to be fair.
They're on, they're currently on
6
points.
3 points.
They're currently on 3.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's not looking good then. Sweden looking even worse. Got Sweden going down to League B.
I think the group could be. The group will most likely be decided if Portugal or France win the game on match day 1. Then
they win
the first match day. Then I think they'll go through, because we're predicting them both to win their final games. So it is definitely, I think, going to come down to that main game. Yeah, that's the only reason that.
Which we've both got as 1-1 draws, right?
Yeah, we both.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting if it does go that way, and it all depends on not facing each other, which is how we've got it. Like the games where they're not facing each other.
And the game in France finished 0-0, so I think that was one of those where we were saying that it could either be a really high-scoring game or a really low-scoring game. I think with this one, it's going to be a case of neither team are going to want to lose the game because then it gives the advantage to the other team. So it could be one of those like a bit of a tactical game, but yeah, I can see.
I mean,
both
with that,
teams.
it's a risky move as well because you've got
It
Portugal
is,
against
yeah.
Croatia and then France obviously against Sweden. I feel like even though I put them both as winning, Portugal and France, I think the likelier out of the two is France. So it'd be a real risky tactic for Portugal to not go in for the kill against France, thinking, we can settle it with Croatia because they're a tough team as well. Whereas France do have the easier tie when they're away from the Portuguese with Sweden.
Exactly. I'm just having a quick look back at the previous scoreline. So Portugal and France both put 4 goals past Croatia on in their own grounds, and then France beat Croatia 2-1 out in Croatia. So I've actually said Portugal will beat Croatia by that same scoreline out.
It's been a tough group for Croatia
as well.
I think they've been quite underwhelming.
Yeah, I think normally if Croatia are normally in a group, you'd normally say that they would probably be 1 or 2, but I think obviously the nature that they're in a group with Portugal and France.
So this is why this competition is great. It does bring up these big ties and really tough groups.
And it eliminates like what people would see as like pointless like friendly games. Like, did you really want to see like England versus San Marino, or would you rather watch England versus Belgium in a competitive game?
Even if
you'd
it
rather
means
watch,
we lose.
you'd rather watch a competitive game because you can get a better gauge of the players. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, moving on then. We have got League A once again, wrapping it up, and we are going with the fourth group. The first game we're going to predict here is Germany versus Ukraine. I've got a 2-0 win for Germany.
I've got a 5-0 win for the Germans.
Big. So we're usually predicting the same minus or plus a goal, but this is a big jump now. You've got 3 extra goals. Nice one, Dan.
Well,
You're excited.
Spain beat them 4-0.
Yeah.
In their second game, so that's partly. I was looking back at other scores and I'm thinking, Germany could well do it, knowing that obviously they're going to be chasing the tails of Spain.
True. Okay, moving into Spain. They're facing Switzerland. Switzerland being the home team, but I'm going for a 1-1 draw between the two of them.
I am going for a 3-2 win for Spain.
Okay, so it's getting close again. Another really interesting group where you're going to be looking at 2 teams really vying for that top spot, and they're facing each other next, and that is Spain versus Germany. I'm going for a decisive win that will wrap up the group as far as who's going through, with a 2-1 victory for Germany.
And I am going for Desmond.
Okay.
2-2 draw, sending the Spanish through by a point.
Wow, okay, interesting. All right, we'll move on to the other 2 teams and see how that affects the relegated sides as well. Switzerland versus Ukraine. I've got another 1-1 draw for Switzerland. So, for me, that actually puts Switzerland bottom of the group, which I wouldn't have predicted at the beginning of this. So I've got them going down on 4 points and Ukraine on 7. And then, Spain on 8, Germany on 12 going through.
I've gone for 1-0 Switzerland win. Switzerland finished the group bottom on 5 points. Ukraine finishing third on 6 points. Germany second on 10. And top of the group is the Spanish on 11.
Okay, right. Well, that is an interesting way to end because that does change who we think is actually going through on that final one. So I think we've got similar finalists except for the last group then. So my finalists are Italy, Belgium, Portugal, and Germany. 2 very interesting matches, no matter which way the draws go. Are yours the same, but you've got Spain, I'm guessing?
Yeah, Italy, Belgium, Portugal, Spain.
Okay, so obviously we won't know if these 4 teams do go through. We don't know how these 4 teams will face each other, and that's going to affect, the final. Obviously, we don't know what the draw is going to be for the semi-finals yet. But just going from the 4 teams you've got going through, who are you picking as your Nations League winners?
I think it's still hard to look past Belgium for most reasons. So it all depends on the draw, really, as you say.
I guess you've got to look at who is most likely to beat all, if they needed to, be able to beat all three teams, which is really tough because they're great teams.
They're all very good teams, and they're all like young rebuilding teams as well.
Like, how much would it mean for Belgium to finally do it, you know, on the tail end of this so-called golden generation? How good would it be for Germany to kind of use it as a rebuilding thing as well, moving away from that poor 2018 World Cup, you know? I mean, you haven't got Germany, I've got Germany.
I was going to say,
but even Spain, you know, Spain, exact same story, not the greatest World Cup.
And then obviously Portugal are going to want to retain it. And prove that, you know, this is their baby. And I mean, the thing is, you can never ever write Portugal out while Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing. I know it's one player, but while he's still playing, you can't rule Portugal out for anything. And obviously we've got a bit of a vested interest with Bruno Fernandes as well.
There indeed, yeah.
The Portuguese penalty maestro, shall we say. So just basically hope it don't go to penalties, and then Bruno has to hop, skip and jump his way to I think for me, I think Belgium are probably, I would say Belgium are probably the strongest to go out and beat all three of them on their day. So I'm going to go bold and say Belgium will win the whole thing.
So I'm torn between Belgium and Germany. Although, like you said, Portugal could definitely do it. In Italy, we haven't talked much about Italy. If you look at my Euro 2020 video that I mentioned earlier, I've got a hunch that Italy are going to be doing quite well soon. So, yeah, I don't know. Because all of them definitely could win it. But, like, if I picture it out of those four teams, I think I'm going to go the same. I think I'm going to go Belgium. And this is that kind of last chance to claw something out of the squad they've got and then build into the next Euros, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to go with Belgium winning the whole thing as well. Which, this could mean nothing in a few days because England might go through top of that group. Exactly. Or even Denmark. So we'll see.
It is strange, yeah. I think the way it's looking, though, I think as we're both like saying with Belgium, it's like the players that they've got, some of them do seem like they're like on a bit of a resurgence. You look at like Lukaku, I think he's a handful for anybody at the moment, not just in international football or Italian football, in the world. He will be a handful for anybody. De Bruyne obviously we know he could bloody break in your house, you wouldn't even know about it. He's that good at finding, you know.
I know what it needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, it's starting to look good again for Belgium. So, yeah, we'll see what that means. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully it doesn't look that good at all this week. And England are the ones going through, and then that changes everything. But we'll see about that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
To be fair, this lineup could be completely different.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
We've only said one team differently, but then you think like France could still go through ahead of Portugal.
Yeah.
England or Denmark could go through ahead of Belgium. Holland could go through ahead of Italy, even at a push. It'd have to be like a big swing in results, but even Poland could go through from that group. If they beat both of them, then. You know,
and I don't want to use all the same old football cliches, but it's all to play for. You know,
it's all to play for.
Really
it's going to cut.
It's no wonder these cliches are there.
They think it's all over.
No, we don't have to do that one. But well, it'd be nice if we had that one.
This one is.
Yeah. But okay, exactly that. This video is now over, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you like our football content, we've got loads of football content on the channel, but we cover other stuff as well: music, film, and TV, other sports and pop culture. I've been Scott. This one over here has been.
I've been Dan.
There we go. And we've both been here for the Rebellious Noise podcast. Once again, please subscribe. Please check out more of our other content and tell your friends. That'd be great. Get them over here. Subscribe.
Your friends, your enemies, your mum, your dad, your nan, your great auntie.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. Someone will like it.
And even if you don't like it, still watch it.
Still press like. And
yeah, just press like it anyway.
That'd be nice. All right, brilliant. It's been good talking Nations League. Hopefully the next time we do this, and it's going to be exciting because we're going to be talking about, the semi-finals coming up. Hopefully England are a part of it. But even if we're not, I'm sure we'll still talk about it, and I'm sure we'll still be excited to see some quality international football.
Regardless of if England are there or not, mate, we will indeed.
Although it would be really nice.